shadowed valleys of a war-torn borderland, where the air hung heavy with the scent of gunpowder and despair, Elias Hawthorne crouched behind a crumbling stone wall. The year was 2047, and the conflict between the Allied Federation and the Eastern Coalition had raged for a decade, turning once fertile lands into graveyards of twisted metal and forgotten dreams. Elias, a young sergeant with eyes like stormy seas and a heart scarred by loss, gripped his rifle tightly. His name, whispered in the barracks as a symbol of unyielding resolve, belied the weariness that gnawed at his soul. At 28, he had seen too many friends fall, their laughter silenced by the roar of artillery. Across the narrow ravine, barely 50 meters away, lay the enemy outpost. Intelligence reports spoke of a coalition sniper nest, a thorn in the Federation's advance. Elias's squad had been tasked with its elimination under the cover of dusk, but as the sun dipped below the jagged peaks, painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold, a sudden ambush shattered the fragile calm. Bullets whistled through the air like vengeful spirits, and Elias found himself separated from his unit, pinned down in a deadly crossfire. "Stay low, Elias," he muttered to himself, his breath ragged. Memories flooded his mind of his sister, Lila, back home in the quiet hills of Evergreen Valley, her letters filled with pleas for his safe return. She had named her newborn son after him, a beacon of hope amid the chaos. But hope felt distant now as the gunfire intensified. On the opposing side, hidden in a foxhole carved into the earth, was Captain Isabella Reyes, with raven hair tied back in a practical braid and emerald eyes that held the fire of conviction. Isabella was a legend among her coalition troops. Orphaned by the war's early strikes, she had risen through the ranks, with a blend of tactical brilliance and unshakable loyalty. Her name evoked images of a guardian angel to her comrades, though she carried the weight of commands that had cost lives. At 32, she fought not for glory, but for the promise of a rebuilt homeland, where her young niece, Sophia, could grow without the shadow of invasion. The close-range exchange began with a Federation grenade that exploded near Isabella's position, sending shards of rock flying. She retaliated with precise burst from her assault rifle, her heart pounding in rhythm with the chaos. "Hold the line!" she shouted to her dwindling squad, but the words caught in her throat as she spotted a lone Federation soldier, Elias, scrambling for cover. Their eyes met across the divide, a fleeting connection in the madness, before bullets forced them apart. As night fell, the gunfire ebbed into sporadic bursts, each side licking its wounds. Elias, wounded in the shoulder, bandaged it hastily with trembling hands. He thought of surrender, but the Federation's creed echoed in his mind. No ground given. Isabella, nursing a grazed leg, whispered a prayer for strength. Little did they know, fate was weaving their paths into a tapestry of unexpected humanity. The storm arrived unannounced, a torrent of rain that turned the ravine into a muddy quagmire. Thunder rolled like distant artillery, masking the cries of the injured. Elias huddled against the wall, his wound throbbing with every heartbeat. His radio crackled faintly. His squad was regrouping a kilometer away, but the path back was a gauntlet of enemy fire. Isolation clawed at him, amplifying the ghosts of battles past. He remembered his father's final words before deploying. "War doesn't define you, son. Your choices do." Across the chasm, Isabella's position fared no better. Two of her soldiers lay motionless, their sacrifices a bitter reminder of the war's toll. She scanned the darkness through her scope, spotting movement, Elias attempting to crawl toward higher ground. Instinct screamed to fire, but something held her back. Was it exhaustion, or the flicker of doubt in her iron resolve? She had lost her brother to a Federation raid years ago, fueling her rage. Yet in this intimate arena of death, the enemy seemed achingly human. A coalition flare lit the sky, illuminating the ravine like a macabre stage. Elias froze, exposed. Isabella's finger hovered over the trigger. But then a child's cry pierced the night, a sound so out of place it shattered the tension. Emerging from the underbrush, soaked and terrified, was a young girl no older than 10, clutching a tattered doll. Her name was Mia, a refugee caught in the crossfire, her village razed days earlier. She stumbled toward Elias, mistaking him for salvation. "Help! Please," Mia whimpered, her wide brown eyes pleading. Elias's heart lurched. He reached out, pulling her behind the wall just as bullets zipped overhead. "Shh, it's okay. What's your name?" "Mia," she sobbed. "My parents. They're gone. On the other side, Isabella watched in horror. The girl was neutral, a civilian, but the rules of engagement blurred in such proximity. Her own niece, Sophia, flashed in her mind, innocent, vulnerable. "Ceasefire!" She ordered her remaining troops, her voice cutting through the rain. The gunfire paused, an uneasy truce born of the storm. Elias, shielding Mia, called out across the void. "We have a child here." "She's hurt!" Isabella's response came hesitantly. "Send her over. We won't shoot." But trust was a fragile bridge. Elias hesitated, then stood slowly, Mia in his arms. He walked into the open, every step a gamble. Isabella emerged from her foxhole, weapon lowered, her squad tense behind her. The two enemies met at the ravine center, rain mingling with sweat and blood. "She's coalition-born," Isabella said softly, recognizing the girl's accent. "But war doesn't care." Elias nodded, handing Mia over. Their hands brushed, a spark of shared humanity. "Get her to safety." As Isabella turned, a hidden Federation sniper, unaware of the truce, fired. The bullet struck her arm, spinning her around. Chaos erupted anew. In the frenzy that followed, Elias dove for cover, but not before returning fire to suppress the sniper. Isabella collapsed, clutching her wound, Mia screaming beside her. The child's terror bridged the enmity. Elias shouted, "Hold your fire! It's over!" His words echoed, and miraculously the guns fell silent. Perhaps it was the storm's fury, or the weight of exhaustion, but both sides hesitated. Elias crossed the divide again, unarmed this time, kneeling beside Isabella. "Let me help," he said, tearing a strip from his uniform to staunch her bleeding. "Why?" she gasped, her eyes searching his. "Because we're more than this war," he replied. "I have a family too, a sister, a nephew named after me. This ends now for her." Isabella's defenses crumbled. "My niece, Sophia, she draws pictures of peace. I fight for that." Together they tended to Mia, who clung to them both. In that moment, enemies became allies against the greater foe, the senseless cycle of violence. Elias radioed his command, pleading for a ceasefire. Isabella did the same. Hours passed in tense vigil, the rain washing away the bloodstains. By dawn, reinforcements arrived, not with aggression, but caution. The incident sparked whispers of negotiation, a fragile hope that rippled through the ranks. Elias and Isabella were evacuated, their paths diverging. But their encounter lingered like a scar that healed rather than festered. Years later, in a world inching toward peace, Elias visited a memorial where Mia, now a young woman, unveiled a plaque honoring the ravine truce. Isabella stood beside her, their names etched in stone. "You saved more than lives that night," Mia said, tears in her eyes. Elias smiled faintly. "We saved each other." The close-range gunfire had forged not destruction, but redemption, a powerful testament to the human spirit's enduring light amid the darkest storms.